Hello everyone. So sorry for the delay. This is Lena with Especially Made for Me. I actually had a video that I was going to be premiering doing a red, white, and blue mini patriotic wreath. And that is actually giving me some technical difficulty. And I wanted to actually have it as a premiere so I will be able to communicate with you with the comments a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is, for now, is show you how to make a bow. Just doing it by hand and using maybe the Bodabra and showing you some different ways of making a bow. And then I'm going to actually have that patriotic mini to show for next week. So it'll be already ready to go. So without further delay, since I've already delayed a few minutes due to the technical difficulties, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make a bow. I'm actually going to be using a 4-inch wired ribbon, red. But I'm going to be holding it up just so I can show you a little bit better. And I'm going to be doing this by hand just so that I can show you how easy it can be. So main thing with bows is to first decide how long you want your tail. And of course, to make it more presentable, we want to make sure that we have our dovetail. That makes it, gives it that finished look. So we want to always do that with any kind of bows that we do, unless we're going to be rolling it. And I'll show you that on another video, what I mean by that. So we're going to fold our ribbon in half with our pretty side to the outside, and then we just cut diagonally towards that corner, the little tip, and that gives us our dovetail. Okay? That gives us that finished look. So then we're going to decide, depending on how big our bow is going to be, we decide how long we want that tail. So it could vary for any size depending on what you're going to be using it for. And I normally just go by eye, but I'm going to tell you, since I'm holding it, I can tell you how long this is going to be. I have an 18-inch tail right now. So what we do is, once we have our measurement of where we want it, we're going to just scrunch it where we want our tail to begin, or a loop. So we're going to have it pinched. Okay, and then we decide how long we want our loop to be, again depending on how big we want our bow and how many loops we want to have. So when we're doing it by hand, and when it doesn't have any letters, the main thing to think of is to kind of keep an eye on the look of your ribbon. So we are going to make a loop, and I'm going to do it and get it measured here for you so we'll know what we're doing. So it's going to be about a 6 or 7 inch. Let's see. Okay, so it's going to be 7 inches. And basically, it's 7 inches as the actual loop. So if you go 14 inches out and then fold it, it'll give you that 7-inch loop. And I'm just kind of doing the same thing, just looping it through and putting it in between my fingers. Okay? We're going to go in and do the same thing on the other side. We went down this way. Now we're going to go up. And we can measure, or we can use our visual. Okay, and we're just going to scrunch it in. Now you can measure it, or again, our visual, you could always lift it and just kind of see where you're at, either way, so that way you know that they're even. And that gives you your second loop. And we're not doing anything special when we're holding it in between our fingers. We're just putting it on in there. Don't have to do anything special. And if you just wanted 2 loops and you want a bow, you can stop right there and you already have a bow. But we're going to go ahead and do some more. So we're going to go around the other side and do another loop. Okay, and this side we're going to go over and downward and do the same thing. We're going to meet it in the middle, and you could use your side, that one loop that's already made, to kind of measure to make sure it's the same length. Okay, and again, nothing special, we're just tucking it in. Do the same thing on the other end, or the other side. And same thing, use the loop that you already have to do that measurement, or you can use your actual ruler or your board or measuring tape if you like, and nothing special here, we're just tucking it in. Okay, and you could do the visual to make sure it's even, or you can hold it again this way to make sure. Okay, so that gives us 4 loops, 2 on each side. Of course, you can stop there, and then we're going to shape it, or depending on how many more loops like you want, you can go some more. So I'm going to go ahead and do another loop. And this time I'm going to go a little bit smaller. Okay, we're going to go over and under, and we're going to go about an inch or two smaller. We're going to tuck it in and do the same thing on the other side. And again, we're going to do the same size, just like 1 to 2 inches smaller depending on the look you're looking for. And we're going to tuck it. My ribbon rolling all over the place here. Okay. Again, you can measure it visually just by lifting the loops to make sure that they're both even. Okay. And that gives us 3 on each side to give us 6. Okay. It doesn't look like much right now, but I promise once we're done it will. Okay. From there, we're going to go ahead and measure against our existing tail so we can make sure we have both of our tails looking the same size. Doesn't have to be exact, but we're basically going to be using that, and we're going to use our scissors, of course, to cut it. Okay, so I'm just going to lift so that you can see me cutting. Okay. Alrighty. Now from here, there's a couple of things you can use to tie your bow. You can use chenille stems, basically pipe cleaners. My accent just kicked in. Tell you, it's Spanglish. You could also use zip tie, depending on what your preference is, or if you're going to be adding some ornaments to it or some embellishments. Like if it's holiday, of course, you could add little cuttings of holiday things or peppermints, different things. Or if you're adding something for a specific holiday, you could add embellishments for that holiday and add that in afterwards. For now, we're going to go ahead and tie it in, and I'm actually going to use the zip tie just to make it a little bit tighter, and we're just going to go right in that middle where we have it on the finger. That's where we were holding it to keep track of our middle, and we're going to put that zip tie in the middle. We're just going to run it in, and we're not going to tighten it all the way. We're just going to make sure it's in our middle and just tighten it enough so that it won't come loose on you. Okay. And then we're going to make it go towards the back of our bow. Like so. And then we get to shape our bow however we want it. I'm going to change the look of the camera just so that you can see me shaping it. Move some things out of the way here. Let's see here. Not letting me do that for some reason. All these technical difficulties, I tell you. I'm going to try something else. There we go. Okay, so here we have our bow. We went ahead and put our zip tie. We're right in the middle. Okay, and this helps us with shaping. So you could hold it and shape it from here just by moving things to where you want them. And when you have wired ribbon, it makes it so much easier to shape these. Okay. I like putting my hands on the inside, makes it pop more. Don't be afraid of doing that. Same thing for your other side. And I'm making red because I figured red can be used for so many different events and holidays and so on. I know we have holidays coming in, red, white, and blue, but with the red now, with the nurses and the doctors, our clinical team being out there in the front lines, I thought this might be a good color to pick to kind of show you. You can put it on the doors to show the support. And then we have our bow, and then that makes us have the one in the middle because we had 6, so you could do the one in the middle. or you could go ahead and put it all the way out so you could have the 3 on each side. So that's just an option. And again, just put the hand on the inside to make it more of a pop. And then if you do the embellishment, I'm going to actually show you with the small peppermint here, just so you see what you'll look like, what it'll look like. If you decide to do that, you could add something in the middle, or add some greenery or flower, something like that in the middle. You could put it in through the chenille stem or glue it in, and that would work. But once you have it set the way you want the bow to look, then you could tighten, there goes my Spanglish again, my accent, tighten up that zip tie so that way it won't go anywhere after that. And then you have your bow. And then of course we want to dovetail the other end. Move some things out of the way. Same way, we're going to fold it in half, match our corners, make sure our pretty side is towards the outside, and we're going to cut diagonally towards the corner. And there is our dovetail. Now the thing you could do before tightening up your chenille stem, you could actually, not the chenille stem, the zip tie, you could put a chenille stem through the middle of that before tightening it, and then that'll give you something else to tighten the bow onto something else, or attach the bow onto something else. From here you could also add more to the bow. As I said, just add some embellishments to it. So again, depending on the type of bow you're making and for what purpose, if you're going to need to tighten the bow or attach it to something, maybe a good idea to do the chenille stem at the end of it before tightening the zip tie. And then you could also use a wired ribbon. Sorry, I was just getting a phone call there. Doing the wired ribbon, or doing another type of zip tie if you would like to kind of tying it onto something else. So there you have it. There's a quick bow for you that you can make very quick and easy. Make it by hand. You can also use the Bowdabra, and then you don't have to hold it with your hand, and then you just basically will putting the loops in between. I can show you how to use that later on. There's also an easy bow out there that you can use, another tool that you can use to make a quick bow. But I just like showing how to make it by hand, so that way you know you don't necessarily have to have, you know, certain equipment to be able to make a pretty bow. And I keep seeing something on the video. There we go. On the camera. So there is a quick bow for you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please